Good morning, everyone. It's Friday, July 24th. From the San Antonio Express News, my name is Luis Vasquez, and this is your Express Briefing. All of the stories you need to know to start your day. You can expect cloudy skies, possible rain, and a high of 96 in San Antonio today. We're keeping an eye on the Gulf of Mexico, where a tropical disturbance may produce scattered thunderstorms this weekend, according to the National Weather Service. You're invited to join the Express News editorial board this morning as they interview Trinity University sociologist and anthropology professor Christine Drennan to discuss the long-standing inequities in San Antonio and potential policies that could bring about lasting change in education, housing, poverty reduction, and economic segregation. A funeral procession and outdoor memorial service are planned today for Kyle Coleman, who led local responses to hurricanes, flooding, and other disasters, and oversaw the county's response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Coleman died from the virus on July 14th. And now let's move on to the top headlines for the day. You can find links to all these headlines in the episode's description. There's something old-fashioned about San Antonio banker J. Bruce Bugg Jr., a Missouri native and son of a casket manufacturer. He preaches the importance of relationships, and he leverages his astutely. Bugg is a member of Abbott's strike force to open Texas, a group of business leaders who advise the governor on finding a balance between slowing the spread of COVID-19 and keeping businesses viable and workers working. In addition to serving on the Open Texas Strike Force, Bugg is an Abbott appointee to the Texas Transportation Commission, which he chairs. He also led the private sector fundraising for what became the Tobin Center for the Performing Arts. Bugg discussed the COVID-19 crisis with the San Antonio Express News. You can find a link to the full interview in the episode's description. San Antonio attorney John Christian Chris Amberson won a huge arbitration award in 2012 for now former father-in-law James McAllen Sr. against an oil and gas company that illegally dumped radioactive materials on his Hidalgo County ranch. Now, though, Amberson could be on the hook to McAllen after an arbitrator in April found the lawyer fraudulently billed millions of dollars in charges, received hourly fees despite claiming he had a contingency fee arrangement, and used the attorney-client relationship for his own benefit. Patrick Danner investigated the history between the two men in depth. The county will send out 200 summonses beginning Friday, with a deadline to respond by August 12th. Administrative Judge Ron Rangel said this is a test, and if it works, the county could be using the same system to pick juries for criminal trials. Potential jurors will not be required to be at the courthouse, but they must respond to the summons online by August 12th. Once the jury pool is chosen, they will be interviewed by attorneys via video conference. Once the 6 jurors are selected, they will call into the trial via Zoom. Elizabeth Zavala takes a closer look at the details. If you're looking for evidence of a brewing political realignment in Texas, U.S. District 21 wouldn't be a bad place to start. During the 32-year stretch that Lamar Smith held the seat, Democrats didn't even ponder the possibility of winning the district. Those days are over, however, for the GOP in Texas 21, a 10-county district which runs along the I-35 corridor from North San Antonio up to Austin and extends out to the Hill Country. Incumbent Republican Chip Roy faces a tough challenge from former gubernatorial candidate Wendy Davis. Gilbert Garcia offers a preview of the race experts are calling a toss-up. To keep our readers up to date on the path of COVID-19, the Express News built a dashboard of interactive graphics showing the spread of the virus in the San Antonio area, in Texas as a whole, and across the United States. You can find a link to that dashboard in the episode's description. Next up are your need-to-know headlines. You can find all of these headlines and more inside your Express News subscription. The number of deaths due to the coronavirus increased by 15 as confirmed COVID-19 cases in Bexar County continues to soar, climbing Thursday by more than 1,000. Wurstfest, the massive annual event in New Braunfels, is the latest area cancellation due to the coronavirus pandemic. It's the first time organizers will cancel the event in its 60-year history. Across Texas, the rural healthcare system has been strained as the number of novel coronavirus cases has surged. Urban hospitals they relied on to take acute patients began to fail, requiring creative, if not desperate, solutions. With USAA delaying employees' return to its offices until at least the beginning of next year, its food service vendor is laying off 319 employees this month. CEOs in San Antonio's biggest public companies took home a hefty pay package in 2019. In some cases, more than 100 times the median pay of their employees. Republican Attorney General Ken Paxton, known nationally for his legal efforts to roll back policies enacted by President Barack Obama, was named one of the 4 co-chairs of the new Lawyers for Trump coalition. As Congress negotiates the next coronavirus relief package, the Congressional Hispanic Caucus is pushing for it to target relief to Latinos, with polls showing nearly 30% of their households in Texas didn't get economic stimulus checks or any other support from the federal coronavirus relief bill passed in March. Stacey Locke is leaving the top spot at beleaguered Pioneer Energy Services Corporation, but the longtime CEO won't depart empty-handed. He's receiving $1.65 million in cash severance payments. Revenue at New Braunfels-based Rush Enterprises Incorporated, the largest commercial truck dealership network in North America, plunged by more than $500 million, or 35%, in the second quarter. The Express News editorial board writes, "Times of crisis demand public accountability. At a time when Texans should be hearing more from their governor, they're hearing less." Since July 15th, 17 H-E-B employees in San Antonio have tested positive for COVID-19, according to the grocery store's website. Some stores have also reported multiple infections since the start of this month. Now we know what San Antonio's Rackspace technology has been up to for the last 4 years. Or, more precisely, now we know what New York-based Apollo Global Management has been up to since acquiring Rackspace in 2016. In the hands of Apollo, one of the world's largest private equity firms, the homegrown cloud service company has gotten much bigger. It's completed 4 acquisitions, including one valued at $1 billion, and it carries a lot more debt. Greg Jefferson has more on that story in the link in the episode's description. And now let's move on to the fun stuff. We have 5 San Antonio restaurants for great lasagna as coronavirus comfort food. But because not everyone is comfortable sitting around strangers right now, each one of these places will also bring food to your car for curbside service. Lasagna will not be denied. And at all 5 of these San Antonio Italian food destinations, it's undeniably good. In more restaurant news, after months of operating a drive-thru and curbside business model, Pollos Asados Los Norteños is welcoming guests back for dine-in, and this time, there's 2 locations to choose from. In gardening, Calvin Finch has tips on how to keep your garden alive during Stage 1 water restrictions, and Neil Sperry answers readers' questions about watering Carissa hollies and more. A new restaurant and tap room is coming to San Antonio near Chavano Park that will allow customers to choose their own self-serve drinking adventures. In the first 3 scrimmages to be played over 6 days in preparation for the July 31st restart opener against Sacramento, the Spurs fell 113-92 to the Eastern Conference's top team. Becky Hammond and coach Greg Popovich swapped roles in the Spurs bench. Bill and Ted Face the Music will open September 1st in theaters and on demand, Orion Pictures announced. And that's all for today. This was your Express Briefing. My name is Luis Vasquez. Please consider becoming an Express News subscriber to get in-depth coverage on all the stories you heard today. Also, be sure to rate and review this podcast inside your Apple Podcast app, as it really helps the show. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone. See you Monday.